Howdy folks, it's Adriel the Hunting Gear Guy. I'm in my new place, that's why the things have changed and might be a little bit echoey until I get more of my noise dampening stuff going in place here, but in any case, I got something in the bag here. What is it? Well, it's an older gun. Maybe that's one of the clues from a gun sock like this, but this is actually a Savage Model 24. This is a over-under 410 22, although they were offered in 20 gauge, 12 gauge, and all sorts of other stuff. I believe this is one of the more popular ones just because it's nice and small and uses cheap ammo. So we're empty, so we're good to take a closer look at this thing. And by closer look, I'm just going to move closer because that's easy. At the back of the gun here, we have just a plain plastic butt plate here. Pretty standard for a lot of these older firearms. Nicely, this one's actually been refinished, but nice wood stock here. Getting up towards the front, we've got our just standard open for an over-under or a side-by-side shotgun. You'd typically have it up on the tang here. And then we have our hammer. And then we have something you probably haven't seen on a lot of shotguns, and that's this doohickey over here. Now that's our Selector, so top is the 22 barrel, and then bottom we can just pop it down there, and that'll do the 410. And what that's actually doing, oh, that's a heavy hammer, is it's actually moving the plate there, and you can see it just moves so that it transfers the energy from the hammer to whichever firing pin you need to, so transfer bar. And you can see there's the 22, and there's the one to hit the 410. I'm just going to let that hammer down easy. It does have a bit of a rebound on it. A rebounding hammer, all that means is that as the trigger is pulled down, the hammer still has a little bit of energy. It goes forward, hits, and then it rebounds to a safe place where it won't directly impact the firing pins. When you let go of the trigger, that is our safety as well. There are no other safeties on this gun. That rebounding hammer is it. So that's that's all we've got on this thing. So yeah, that's safe though. Now later models of this thing had a lever here, but it's not actually for the barrel selector. The later models with the side lever on there was actually to change which, was to open it, and you changed which barrel was getting hit by a little selector up on the hammer itself, which is a little bit odd, but okay. Getting a little bit further forward here, we have a standard blade style iron sight on the rear and a post on the front. So fairly standard there for the age. Now to take this thing down, this is a takedown firearm. You just pull it. That's it. It's got a little bit of a spring-loaded guy here. So that comes off there. And then you pull this guy, and then just like an over-under shotgun or a side-by-side shotgun, really, any of those break opens, they just come apart. So it is a pretty compact deal. And then, oh, can I do this on camera without embarrassing myself? Let's find out. Let's find out. Not bad, right? And then to put that back on, we're just going to pop that up on there, and then just snaps on. So pretty easy. So should you get a Savage 24? Well, I don't know. I mean, like there's some interesting things about this. The ability to go from 22 or 410 is very interesting. So the way I'd imagine this would go is you leave the hammer forward, you'd be down on the shotgun, going around. If you're around game birds, maybe you'd cock the hammer, but given now that there's no safety, I don't know if you'd really want to do that or not. So maybe you'd go with the hammer down on the 410 barrel. See a bird, you'd cock it and fire on the bird on the wing. What if you see a grouse or something like that and it's sitting on the ground and it's not quite moving around? Well, go for the 22 shot on the head and use more of the meat. I think that's how you would use it. I think that's how I would use it. I know a lot of guys out east do a lot of grouse hunting and that kind of thing, only with shotguns and dogs and that kind of a thing. And I'd never dream of it. Around where I hunt, they're fairly easy to see. I use a 22 most of the time, and I go for just headshots. So I get lots of gross meat. I don't have to pick shot out of my bird meat or anything like that. And it's super easy to clean because just the head comes off. So the rest is very easy to handle. So it is interesting that it has that flexibility. I don't know if I would use it. Newer versions of this are the Savage 42. It's got a synthetic stock on it. I think it looks ugly. I think I think the new one is pretty ugly. On the new ones, what they opted to do, rather than have the barrels joined, this is harder to do because you basically are fixing these things and soldering them, and hope to hell that the iron sights are hitting the same for both of them. So it's going to take a little bit of finagling around and a little bit more skill to do that. The new ones have the barrels separated, and then they have like a little screw guy on there to adjust the impacts between the two of them, which is cheaper way of doing it. It doesn't look quite as cool, doesn't look quite as classic, but it is a way of doing it. So I don't know, maybe, take that as you will. So given that these things are right around $700 right now, the prices are a little bit high. And given that I mostly hunt grouse and small game with a 22, I'd probably just continue doing that. This doesn't really fit the needs of how I hunt, but I'm not everyone. So if you hunt somewhere where you may need to take a shot on the wing, where a game bird might be moving or a rabbit might be running under the brush, the ability to go down to the 410 is pretty nice. It's not something I think I would use for the style of hunting I do. But I don't hunt in like really, really thick brush. Most of my stuff is just little bushes in between prairies. So maybe this would be more useful for you, but a very interesting gun to shoot. A couple of things just to note about shooting the gun itself. It's got extractors, not ejectors. So it extracts, you pick them out, and put a new one in, and that's it. The trigger on this thing is pretty heavy. I mean, the hammer's pretty heavy. It's got a pretty heavy hammer on this thing, and that trigger is pretty long and gritty as well. So something to take into consideration. I think a lot of the guns that were this age were fairly similar, but it is a very nice, classy gun to go hunting small game with, and I think it's very well suited for that. Thanks for watching.